All right. We are going to try this again. I know it's not again for you, but this is the third time that I have said what I just said. So here we go. My name is Michelle. I was going to make the first video that I upload to my channel be like the story of me, the story of how I became anti-MLM, what kind of ex-hun I am, what company I was in, because obviously if you're watching this channel, you probably already know that I am here to talk about MLMs. But I'm not going to do that. I mean, I'm not going to tell my story. Because today, sorry, I am so uncomfortable. I've been sitting in this chair all day. This morning, I woke up to a really fucking horrible pep talk from Draymus. Not sure if she has a last name. From Wfabb. I keep wanting to call them Wfabb. Can we call them that? Because it just rolls off the tongue. Anyway. If you don't know who that is, look it up. No, I'm just kidding. It is the team within a team, the smaller pyramid within the pyramid that was Monate. And then they basically, I think, had a bridge contract and all moved over to iGenius, the cryptocurrency MLM. It stands for Work From Anywhere Boss Builders, which is a really stupid name, but stupid concept. Anyway, this has nothing to do with crypto or shampoo or anything fun like that. It has to do with Nazis. I had to, not really, well, kind of. I had to make this video instead of sharing my story because I am just so fucking pissed off that I have to share it. So, we're gonna watch that. I might add a little commentary here and there, maybe. So here is Dray.
Okay, so today's call is going to be about redirecting your focus to abundance. Okay, this is a topic that is pretty important to me because it did change my business very early on. You know, they always say new levels require new devils. You know, and this is one of the lessons that I learned in the first, I would say, 6 months of my business, that I learned very early on that I was struggling with, is abundance, focusing on abundance. You know,
The video quality is just distracting me. I apologize. So give me a minute. I'm gonna see if I can fix it. Okay. So we're gonna see if the audio is any better. The video may be worse.
In the first, I would say, 6 months of my business, that I learned very early on that I was struggling with, is abundance, focusing on abundance. You know, I was in a place where I was complaining a lot. You know, I was calling my upline and I was like, yo, my team's not working, no one's doing this, they're not posting, they're not responding in the chat, they're not doing this, the points aren't going up, they're not making any sense. Like, I was literally just complaining about what everybody else was not doing.
That sounds really annoying.
And I'm like, I'm working so hard and they're not matching my energy. Have y'all ever felt like that before? Drop in one of the chat if y'all ever felt like that before. Like, you working your ass off and people just not matching your energy, right? And I was like, oh, and the points are not moving and I don't have this and then, and I was just complaining. I was focusing on every single thing, a lot of ones in the chat right now, that was going wrong in my business. Every single thing that was going wrong in my business. That's what I was focusing on. right? And she told me, she's like, you're focusing way too much on the negative stuff. The negative stuff is always going to be there.
Yeah.
You need to focus on abundance. Focus on the things that you're doing well and that your team is doing well. I don't care if it's 2 things.
Yeah. The negative stuff is always going to be there because you are in a fucking cult.
Focus on those 2 things.
We'll get there.
And every time I would call her, it was like over the course of like a few weeks, she's like, you need to stop, okay? You need to stop complaining and you need to focus on abundance. And so I wrote on my billboard, focus on abundance in a huge letters. And every single time,
I think she means whiteboard.
that a thought came up that was negative about my business, I stopped. And I redirected my thought to something positive.
Thought control.
I didn't want to give that much energy to the negative parts, because there's, like I said, there's always going to be negative. No matter how successful you are, no matter how much money you make, no matter how big your team is, no matter whatever, how good your relationship is, how good your friendships are, there's always going to be negative in the world. Always. There's always an abundance of negativity. But what do you choose to focus on?
I'm sorry. I just apologize so much for the quality of this video. I am so new to this whole YouTubing thing, so just you know, if you have any tips for me, tell me what programs you use, because mine are not working very well on my shitty little computer. So
we have the ability to create that positive abundance. You can have literally whatever it is that you want, but you have to earn it.
the secret.
And you have to earn it not just with your actions, but you have to earn it with your thoughts. Because abundance starts in your mind. Because most people, you see, they let what they have right now control them. They let what they have right now control how they see themselves. They let the amount of money that's in their bank account control how they see themselves today.
I'm sorry, but personally, the amount of money in my bank account basically controls most of the shit in my life. That's just a fact. That's not me being negative.
Control how they see their value. Carlos likes that. He did one of these, okay? I love that. Give me your energy when you like something I'm saying, okay? They let what they see in their bank account control how they see themselves. They let their friends control how they see themselves based on the critique that they're... How many of y'all joined a network marketing business or whatever, started talking online, and your friend was like, oh, that sounds funny. Like, why are you talking like that? Like, you should say it like this, right?
We're not even to the part that pissed me off yet, but no, I don't think anyone's friend has ever told them, you sound funny, you should say it like this. I mean, my friends told me that Beachbody was a pyramid scheme, but they didn't, like, you know, give me tips or anything on how to do my cold messages.
Drop a one in the chat, or put a hand up. All of a sudden, this person who don't even talk on their social media is telling me that I sound funny. Okay, let me hear you, Bob. Let me hear you.
Yeah, Bob.
On your stories. You know what I
Let's hear
mean?
you, Bob.
And they're like, shit, do I sound weird? Do I sound dumb? Am I doing too much? Am I like, and you start questioning yourself.
All of the above.
I know that's happened to a lot of you guys. All of a sudden, your friends with 300 followers who never post on their stories are social media experts. Right? You know what I mean? Yeah. They don't understand that you gotta start somewhere. You gotta start somewhere. And they're just triggered by the fact that they couldn't do it either, right? They couldn't do it either. But
I'm triggered.
what I'm saying is you let their opinion control you and control your actions and control how you see yourself. Or you let your living conditions. Maybe you don't like where you're living. Maybe you don't like the car you drive. When I started this business, I was living in my mom's basement. I had duct tape on my car window. Maybe you're letting that control how you see yourself. Why would anybody want to work with somebody who has duct tape on their car? Why would anybody want to do business with me? I live in my mom's basement.
I mean, yeah, that's a good point. I don't think I would sign up for a business opportunity under somebody with duct tape on their car who lives in their mom's basement. Your negative thoughts have a good point.
Right? So you let your circumstances control how you see yourself. But you have to understand that you have infinite potential within you. Infinite potential within you. We have such magnificent minds, y'all. Like, we can literally think anything that we want. We are in control of those thoughts. And I'll give you a story. There's this guy named Viktor Emil Frankl. I don't know if you guys have heard of him. He's a Holocaust survivor. Carlos said, dreaming ain't tax, so dream big. Viktor Emil Frankl is a Holocaust survivor. Okay? And he's the author of a book called...
Hang on. Please, for the love of God, tell me that this time when I watch this recording, it's not going to compare network marketing to the Holocaust. If there is a God.
Called The Man's Search for Meaning. Yes, Kylie put it in the chat. She knows, okay. Right? Man's Search for Meaning. And he spent World War II in a concentration camp. You guys all know what concentration camps are, right? And he said in his book, the meaning of life is found in every moment of living. Life never ceases to have meaning, even in suffering and death. Meaning your life always has meaning, even in suffering.
She's doing it.
And he also...
She's comparing it. She's drawing the analogy here. She's comparing being at the bottom of the fucking pyramid in fucking iGenius or Monade or whatever to being in a concentration camp. So on one hand, admitting that life sucks at the bottom of the pyramid. And on the other, the worst, most disgusting, despicable, scumbag fucking analogy that I have ever heard from a network marketer.
Said, from the freedom of choice, he always had, even in severe suffering, he always had freedom of choice. And he said the inner hold a prisoner has on his spiritual self relies on having a hope in the future. And once that prisoner loses that hope, he is doomed. He was a prisoner and his eye was on the future. His eye was on abundance. He did not, like,
I was on getting out of the fucking concentration camp.
Intellectual and physical abuse that he was subjected to. He was literally treated like a dog, like a hound. Right? Regardless of all of the abuse that he was subjected to for years in the concentration camp, you know what he said? He said no one could cause him to think something that he didn't want to think. That shit blew my mind. He
This shit's
was
blowing my
literally
mind.
in a concentration camp, and he said they could abuse me, they could hit me, they could beat me up, they could starve me, they could, they
Is
could
that
abuse me in all
happening
these
in
ways, but they
iGenius?
cannot tell me what to think. They cannot control my thoughts. That's the only thing that I can control, no matter what. So he didn't allow anyone
Loaded fucking language.
to control his thoughts. So during his time in the concentration camp, he had every single reason in the book to focus on the enormous, overwhelming amount of negativity around him. The enormous amount of negativity around him. The death, the abuse, his human rights literally stripped from him, watching other people go through the same thing right in front of his eyes, living like a dog every single day. He had literally every reason to focus on the lack and the limitation, but he didn't. He didn't allow the circumstance that he was in to determine his thought patterns and control his mind. Because he knew his mind was the only thing that he had complete control.
He was not fucking thinking about being at the top of a fucking pyramid scheme. This is not the same.
All over. And he says this is the reason that he was able to get out and eventually live a fulfilled life. And if he can do that in a concentration camp for years, I trust and believe that you can do it here. I trust and believe that you can do it no matter what.
Oh my God. Get off of my screen. Oh my God. Oh. So she went there. What was that last thing she said? If he can do that in a concentration camp, I trust and believe that you can do it too. That's just... You're just a fucking scumbag. How can you draw that analogy and sleep at night? 1.6 million people were imprisoned in concentration camps. Those are human beings. Human people. 1 million of them died, and he's one of the 500,000 that just was enslaved and lost all of his brothers and sisters and mom and dad. And by the way, I looked this guy up, and his pregnant wife. Oof. Oof. It's just not fucking okay. It's not some abstract concept. The Holocaust really happened. And it's not fucking okay to trivialize it by using it, exploiting it, and all of the people affected by it still today for your fucking network marketing scam. It's just not, it's not fucking okay. Sorry. I just had to sit on that for a minute. But, yeah. So, thank you, Dre. You're a despicable human being. I don't have much more to say about it than that. I hope you watch this, and I hope you feel bad. But You probably won't. And you probably wouldn't. So anyway, those who are still watching, thank you. Let me know what you think in the comments. And subscribe to my channel if you want to see videos about me in the future and not about concentration camps.